Aloha. Well, my name is Matt Anderson. This is my first attempt at a video log, and unfortunately, we have a power outage problem, so I'm going to try and improvise a little bit here. We'll see how this goes. I'm a student at Boise State University in the EdTech 597 class, YouTube and Education. Today, for my video log entry, I will be discussing some of my thoughts about using YouTube in education. I find this subject to be very interesting and, in fact, quite controversial. I work as a technology coordinator at an intermediate and high school and in Hawaii, and the Department of Education here in the state has blocked YouTube access from all all public schools in the state. So that I do know too that many other districts and schools across the country have blocked YouTube access, especially public schools. And so that brings up a good question, especially when you see places like Boise State offering classes that are geared specifically towards using YouTube or video sharing sites in education. So the big question comes up, why is YouTube blocked? And then naturally, I would think that the next question would be, is there actually educational value in YouTube? So today for this vlog entry, I'm going to take a look at those two questions, and then we'll see where the discussion takes us from there. So first off, why is it blocked? As an educator and as a technology coordinator specifically, I understand and know that video streaming can use a lot of bandwidth. It can cause a lot of network traffic and can cause problems potentially with networks. I know that our school and many other schools have budget problems, a tight budget, especially during the economic times we're in. And in addition to that, there's pretty limited or older resources to use for networking and infrastructure. And so one of the reasons that YouTube could be blocked is simply that it uses lots of bandwidth. It uses a lot of those resources and could potentially cause a problem with mission critical type things like email or other student information systems, grades, etc. And so they just block it to avoid any problems with their network. The second reason that YouTube may be blocked is I know that there's several federal and state laws or regulations or funding programs, E-rate being one, that require schools to filter their network connections for content that may be inappropriate for minors or for school-aged children. Because YouTube is user-generated videos, there's the possibility for almost anything, which is part of its appeal, but it also means that there could be content that could be deemed pornographic or obscene or distasteful. And so schools may choose to block YouTube simply to avoid that risk. They think, okay, rather than try and deal with it, we'll block it all, and then we don't have anything slip through the cracks. So those two reasons for blocking YouTube seem pretty logical, and as an administrator, it could be very reasonable to say, hey, look, we don't have the bandwidth and there's risk, let's block it. So that brings up the very good question is, well, why is Boise State and other places offering a class on the education? Is there actually an educational value to YouTube? And the simple answer to that is yes. We've already seen in just our third week of the class that there's all kinds of videos out there, and really when you think about it, video is a format that's been used for decades in education. The news, documentaries, even going back to things like film strips that they used a long time ago. That's forms of multimedia, forms of video have been used in education for a long time. So you take that format that's already been around and we know has educational value, and you put it online, and automatically you're giving hundreds or thousands of people the opportunity to not only gain access to those resources, but to share those resources and to create them for others, people to use. We found last week in our assignment in the EdTech class at Boise State that it isn't that difficult to put together resources, dozens of resources in a variety of subjects quite quickly that can be very, very valuable in an education setting. So yes, there is value to online video in an educational setting, but it's being blocked by school districts across the country. So it seems that we have a bit of a dilemma. Districts are facing hard questions. What do we do? Do we offer this because of the educational value? But on the other end, there's risks as far as the content goes and what might end up in the classroom, and there's problems with network bandwidth. So what do we do? And I think that's what we're going to take a look at as we move forward, and if we do more video log entries, I hope to address this topic a little bit more because it's a dilemma. And as a teacher, as an educator, and as someone who wants to help students have more resources available to them, I think that it's a question and a dilemma that needs to be resolved. Hopefully we'll find ways that schools and school districts can overcome some of the obstacles presented by YouTube to be able to take advantage of some of the benefits that it offers. So until next week, we'll see if we can find out more and have another entry, hopefully next time with power, so that we can present the material a little bit better. Thank you very much. Have a good night.